Hey there, my friends. This is Andy coming to you live from Southern California. I got a little bit of a hoarse voice, so please bear with me. I'm going to do my best to still be my old entertaining self, funny, smart, have words. It's all going to be good. Hey, you know, a couple of things that have been coming across my Facebook page over the last couple of days. Again, just in case you didn't see my earlier broadcast, if you're not one of those, some of you are watching on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and that kind of stuff. I've been sick for the last 3 or 4 days. And so it's been great being sick, by the way. But what it allows you is more time to sink into, discussions with friends, to, maybe, going a little bit more social media, maybe some friends you haven't followed before, see what they're doing. But the one great thing that has, actually, that's not the right wording. The one thing that I've been able to see a lot of, which is not great, is so many people talking about anxiety, depression, fear, and how it's affecting them. Some people I just saw one earlier today, a good friend of mine who said she just was in the hospital because of her anxiety, or the doctor's office, or whatever, whatever mode she was in her recovery. And that is kind of led me to start writing what I was going to talk about tonight, and the need to come on, even though I know my voice may go out, but I felt it was necessary for me to come up because I've suffered from depression and anxiety. And if you've been following me for the last couple of years or so, when I've been writing my book about CBD, about how CBD was one of the things that I believe got me through my anxiety and depression. It allowed me to sleep better, and then sleep now is the next conduit of recovering from things that affect your brain and your thought process, your ability to recover from day to day, understanding that with every waking moment that you have, you're damaging your brain. That's the truth, scientifically. Every second you're alive, you're damaging your brain. Sleep repairs that damage. And if you don't sleep, you're repairing less of your damaged brain. So with all that in mind, of course, because lately I've been talking about the political world and what has been going on, and the election coming up, and our great president, and the very poor Democratic nominee that they have put in place, and their platforms. This all, I think, ties together. And whether you are watching news every day or not, whether you are active in Facebook every day or not, I don't think it matters. I think that it's just in our world that even walking today, I was able to get out today and actually go to a couple stores with a friend of mine. And one of the first stores we went into, the discussion of masks and what's going on in our country immediately started, right? And so it's unavoidable to hear. You have a side, and that it's really what it is right now. It's a side that is peddling fear, anxiety, worry on a day-to-day basis. You have another side that's pushing being American. And that is not being fearful. That is not being worried every day. And so I wrote down a couple notes just a few minutes ago to come on. I just felt like I really had to come on because I don't want a day to go by with only 6 days left before the election without at least doing my part in hoping that somebody will watch this or see this and understand why it's important to vote Republican, whether you like our president or not. I don't care if you like our president. I don't care if you think that his tweets are bad. I don't care if you think he had a really bad past. It is not about voting for the man. It is about voting for the policies and what our country stands for, and understanding that our country is great. It is not racist. It is not a horrible country. And so I just want to lay out a couple things, and I'm going to try. This is going to be, I know I've said this before, even when I'm not sick. This is going to be a very short broadcast, but I want to bring up these things. I want you to consider if you've not placed your vote yet. Now, I know there's a whole number of Democrats probably that after the interview on Tucker Carlson last night probably are figuring out, how can I change my vote? I apparently voted for the wrong man. I voted for a criminal and did not vote for a president. Really quick before I get into my list of things here, let me see what the comments are. Hey, Dixie, nice to see you. I know I should be resting, but I'm sitting here. I'm actually sweating right now. I never sweat during one of my shows. Total anxiety, absolutely. My faith has constantly carried me through my depression. Oh, that's so good. COVID numbers equals voter suppression. Same with poll numbers. Oh, that's a good point. Both are fake news. All right, absolutely. You guys are right on the money. All right. So when I see people like Hannah, oh, I should have my phone. I got to bring up something really quick. Hannah, one of my friends, she wrote a very cool thing. I want to read this really fast in case you're not on my Facebook page. She wrote a great post today. I shared it on my personal page, so make sure and read the whole thing. It's probably one of the best posts that I've ever read in social media, and you want to read it. But it's a long post. But I took out a portion here, and I thought this one paragraph, at least for me, is the one that I remember looking in the mirror one day and telling myself that now listen, I'm talking to myself. I never thought I would share this out loud, but I looked in the mirror and I said, Andy, you are whatever it was. At the time I was trying to sell myself off as an expert in detection dog expertise in testifying in court cases. And I had some anxiety necessarily getting in front. I had to get in front of 800 people at Caesar's Palace and speak in front of it. It was about 800 to 900 people, attorneys, mostly defense attorneys. I'm a police officer, and standing up in front of 800 to 900 defense attorneys was a little intimidating. And I know that I was having some anxiety going into that situation, speaking in Caesar's Palace to a huge audience. And I remember the day because the anxiety would hit me at different times and different things, and the depression, thinking I'm not worthy, I'm not an expert. How can I get up there and say that these things? And even on my resume, if you see my CV or resume, it'd be hard to find anybody that's done as much as I have in the dog training business. And I'm not trying to blow myself up. I'm just trying to tell you that when you have 30 years of dog training experience in the police dog industry and written a couple books and that kind of stuff, you get into a certain level of experience and expertise. So here I am getting ready to speak at Caesar's Palace, and I was having anxiety about doing it. Like, how can I get in front of 900 attorneys and say I'm the leading expert in the world on this thing? And I remember it's almost to the word, it's very close to the words that I used when I looked in the mirror and told myself that, Andy, along with that, hey, you're an expert. You are an expert. From this point on, you are the leading expert in dog stuff. And then this is what Hannah wrote in her thing, which I thought is one of the things that's super important. And then she said, you have to make the decision to get serious about God and say, I am done with this BS. I want to have a better life. I want to live in freedom. I want to have peace. I want to have God's favor. I want to find my purpose. And my purpose at that time was to be the leading expert in the dog training business. For me and my family, that was going to be my business. I was going to change the trajectory of my world at that time. I had lost the business due to a very bad decision. And this was the thing that was going to take me into an entirely different direction. The anxiety would have kept me from doing that. And sometimes you have to stand in front of a mirror and just look at yourself and look into your eyes and say, you are worthy. God loves you. You are an expert in whatever it is that you find yourself being an expert in. And just understand that no matter what it is, you are an expert in many things. No matter what your audience is, as long as you know just a little bit more than they do. If you just know just this much more, you know what? You're an expert. And so never worry about that kind of thing. So I thought that was important. Go to my personal page if you're a friend of mine and look for that. It's a really long one, but it's worth reading the whole thing. All right, before I lose my voice, I want to get to my list of things. And I want to remind you, because fear mongering and the way media is trying to get us to make a decision is to make us as fearful as possible, right? And to tell us that we're going to die, to tell us that we are racist, to tell us that the looting that you see is caused by our president, that the only way to get it to stop is by voting their way, that if you don't, that our world is going to be destroyed. Hold on, let me try this. Some heat. Sweating is good. Give me 1 second. It is impressive. What is impressive? Tell me what's impressive, Dixie. Okay, thank you, Maureen, for that. Okay. I think I can talk now. Okay. So I want you to remember something about Americans. And as I was kind of sitting in the bed watching, sorry, something just hit me funny. When I was watching the president speak, when I was watching the rally, and kind of like just watching everything was going on, watching the people in the rally, right? What was it, 26,000, 25,000 people in Mesa, Arizona, one of the many stops he's made, 2 or 3 stops he's made, that thousands of people are there. When you see his rally, as opposed to Biden's rally, besides the number, you don't see people like wearing like red, white, and blue. You don't see them holding signs. You don't see them just smiling and laughing and dancing to the music. You see none of that. You see dark, diminished people that are like, they're all wearing masks, but not in a Donald Trump. And you know why? And the reason is Americans thrive. Americans, not Democrats. Americans thrive off of hope, prosperity, success, choice, freedom, faith, peace, and courage. And there's others, I'm sure, but those are the ones that came to mind right away. When you think of American, when I was growing up, when you think of soldiers going into battle, when you think of police officers, firefighters, I was trying not to use firemen, firefighters, accountants, lawyers that are Americans, you think of people that have hope. They want prosperity for their family. They want success. Success is not a bad word, right? We've been taught to believe through the media that success is, it's horrible, that they want to make money, that they're keeping all the money, right? No, success is the hope, right? Many people come here from they break into our country to have success because they can't have success in other countries. So you have to understand why does everyone, if we are so racist, if we are such a horrible country, why are people breaking into our country and not one single person is breaking out? People are coming into our country because of success, because of the hope of prosperity, to have choice, to have a choice in things, in food, in what we do and what we watch and what we say and what we believe in. To have that choice is why we are American. We thrive off of that. Of course, freedom, faith is huge. Because I use my daytime, talks to talk more about faith, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but that really has been, we've been really seeing a growth in the churches. I know the church that I've gone to has. I know there's other churches that they talk about that they see 70%, maybe 110%, maybe more growth in the attendance of their church, whether it's both live and online. And so we know that faith is important to Americans. They thrive off of it. Sometimes our churches, obviously, it becomes declined in attendance. That's because, when things are good, we think, oh, why do I need God? And that's the wrong thing. That's what I've been trying to talk to you about, that we need to be just as interested in God when things are good. We need to thank him even more when things are good. We need to do more for God when things are good. We tend to do the opposite, right? When things are bad, we go, okay, now I need God. Now I'm going to start going to church. That may be why we see such a growth in church, but that's okay. I love seeing the growth in church. I love to see my growth in church. I'm just as guilty as anybody else. Peace. We want peace. What have we seen since Donald Trump has come into power? We've seen more peace. And people thought for sure that he was going to get us into more wars. And we don't see the videos of, our Americans being beheaded. We see people that have been captured being released, right? And so we thrive on peace. We want peace. It's been tough because we've had an awful lot of wars, but we want more peace and courage. Courage is so important to being American. If you're not courageous, if you're tied up in fear, then something's wrong if you're trying to be an American. Now, again, I'm almost done. Hold on 1 second. Let me just make sure and clarify what the other side wants. Man, I'm sweating. Is it hot in here? I'm sweating like a mother. All right. So it's really quick. Democrats and the devil. Democrats and the devil, they want the same thing. They thrive off of the same thing. I was sitting here going, as I'm writing the list, I'm going, it's not just... The Democrats and the devil thrive off of hopelessness, poverty, failure, government having the choice, not the people having the choice, lockdowns and suppression, churches closed and having them be non-essential, war and fear. It's the same. You could also say Marxism and communism all thrive off of the same thing. So this is your choice, because my voice is getting ready to leave. This is the choice. You can choose to be an American and choose, I'm not going to say Trump. Choose Trump. I don't know what to tell you. Rat all the way down the line. Choose Trump. I know you hate him, some of you. I know some of you, like me, I love him. I love the man. I got a little bit of a crush on him, my president. But that's okay. He's fantastic. He makes me laugh. He makes me smile. When he says horrible jokes, they make me laugh. And that's just who I am. But you don't have to. You don't have to love him. You don't have to like him. You don't have to like anything that he does. But if you're American, you're going to vote for hope, prosperity, success, choice, freedom, faith, peace, and courage. Or if you vote Democrat and the devil, you're going to get hopelessness, poverty, failure. Government's going to be making your choices for you. Lockdown, suppression. Churches are going to be closed and held to be non-essential, war and fear. That is just a fact of life. If you just look back, and there'll be people that argue with me, and that's all fine. I have that one guy right now. I have one guy he's awesome. I love having him on my page, showing us exactly what a Democrat is, and that is a fear-mongering, hateful person. And every one of his comments are fear-mongering, a hateful message, and that's why I love having him on there. All right, I know my voice is annoying, so let me just look at these one more time before I go. And I'm sweating up. I hope I don't have sweat stains under my armpits. That would be really bad. And I never sweat. Your dog training history. You are skilled. It's impressive. You speak with, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Not that late. Oh, Amy, you're late. Thanks a lot, Amy. I thought, I always say, I get this image in my mind when I hit that live button that millions of people are getting notifications on their phone all over the world. And he's going live, and they're clicking, and Amy, you're late. So thanks. I appreciate that. You're supposed to be my producer. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Yes, Dixie, that's awesome. Sweating and is good for you're flushing toxins. That's kind of gross. I am. Can you see? I am sweaty. It's actually dripping off my forehead. I look like the guy who played the trumpet. What's his name? Not Neil Armstrong. He's the moon guy. What's that guy's name? Amy, help me. Producer. What's the guy that plays the trumpet and he sweats and he had to brag. Go, oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. What is that guy's name? What's his name? Oh my God. Red Wave all the way. Yes, Red Wave all the way. Absolutely. I love him. POTUS is awesome. I know Dixie. He is. Have a hot toddy. That's what I have right here. It's not a hot toddy, but it is lemon tea, no brandy, but honey. Gross but true. What? The sweating the toxins? No, that's so gross. Okay, Amy. Oh boy, your mind is going. You must have a fever. I do. You're supposed to come up with the name of the guy who plays the and his cheeks got really big and he would sweat. And his name is Armstrong. Shit. I can't remember what it is. I'm going to wait one more second because now it's going to bother me and I don't want to Google it. Democrats. Oh, dementia craps. Dementia craps truly are hateful people. No, Louis Armstrong, thank you very much. It's the airport over in New Orleans. When you land in New Orleans, that's the name of the airport, the Louis Armstrong Airport. All right, thank you, Amy. I knew you would pull through. You're the best. Louis Armstrong, yes, Louis Armstrong. That's who I feel like right now. Or Louis. Oh, Louis, not Louie. All right, cool. All right, my friends, I hope this is helpful. It's helpful to me, and I really do appreciate you guys coming on. It's always good to come on. One of the things, and let me just close one more thing, with the anxiety and the fear and the depression, the one commonality that I know that I kind of read in some of the messages and in my talk today, sharing some of my depression earlier with a friend of mine, is that having people in your life and not shutting people out. That always is the thing. Now it's easy for me to say. I obviously, when I talked about my, I'm going to say something I'm going to talk about a little later. But in the time that I thought about committing suicide is when I shut myself down away from everybody else. And that was one of the things that was the biggest danger, is that you shut yourself off from people and you close the curtains, right? You close the doors, you turn off the lights, you turn on the TV, and you're just sitting there and you're hoping that somehow your depression and anxiety will go away all by itself. It won't. You need people in your life. You need church. You need community. You need a friend that you can count on, that you can share your most important thoughts and and thoughts that you probably wouldn't share with anybody else. There's got to be somebody like that in your life, and I think it's important that you find them. I've struggled to always find this. I think sometimes, and this may be an excuse, but with guys, it's hard to do that, right? We don't like to show weakness. We don't like to share that we've lost, an entire business and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and there are houses about to be foreclosed on. We don't want to do that. We think that we're going to go back to our office and figure it out before anybody finds out, including the wife. I got to tell you. And so you try to do all this by yourself. It'll never work. You can't get through tough times, anxiety, depression, without having somebody with you, alongside you, whether it's over the phone, a Zoom call, a FaceTime, or whatever it is, and find that person that you need to do that with. And so I want to make sure and talk just a little bit about that. But if you're feeling the same way and you want to message me and talk about some of that stuff, I talked a little bit about that in my book that I posted on my Facebook page called Falco Walking with God and a Dog. And that may have a couple things in there for you, some prayers that you might have. But I would just suggest, and I know some of you are atheists that watch the show and that kind of stuff, but church is amazing. I know that what I've found in the church over the last several months, I wish I would have found a lot sooner. And one of my messages a couple of days ago, maybe last week, was that the thought that I had to jump all kinds of through hoops for God to save me, to accept me, I was wrong. that is not the deal. That is not the deal at all. That you just have to understand that He's already done it for you, and that's. I wish I would have found that out sooner, and unfortunately, I did not. All right, my friends. So, if anything I said, you think anybody else would like to hear it, even though my voice is a little rough, please share the message, because Facebook is not doing it, YouTube's not doing it, Twitter's not doing it. As a matter of fact, they're blocking my messages. So you would have to actually share these out to any groups or people that you want them to see, and then also go to my podcast and subscribe to my podcast, just in case I get completely closed out of Facebook, because that will be the only place that I'll be able to talk to you and to share some of the things that I'm learning, either through church or the books that I'm reading, and then be able to share those with you. All right. Hope this has been helpful to you. I appreciate you very much and love you guys. Thank you. And sorry, I'm trying to operate the computer here. All right, my friends, I love you. Take care. Bye.